And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Yeah!
How about them Cowboys? Click like Power Boys. Make you say wow boys from the QBs, DTs, LBs, and the Towel Boys. You tuning in to the team that win. Big game, first name James. He interviewed, he called the games. Silver blue, you know the name. From the Emmitt Smith to the Michael Irv. We beating skins, shooting birds. I see a bank snatch it out his fur. Favorite team on the planet Earth. From Monday night to Sunday church. DJ putting in the work. I'm tuning in, no need to search. Through thick and thin and good and worse. Them Cowboys, click like Power Boys. Make you say wow boys. From the QBs, DTs, LBs, and the Towel Boys. You tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the goddamn, they did it again. How about them Cowboys? Click like Power Boys. Make you say wow boys. From the QBs, T's, LBs, and the Towel Boys. You tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that silver and blue done did it again. Them Cowboys, click like Power Boys. Make you say wow boys. From the QBs, DTs, LBs, and the Towel Boys. You tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the goddamn, they did it again. How about them Cowboys? Click like Power Boys. Make you say wow boys. From the QBs, DTs, LBs, and the Towel Boys. You tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that win. Tuning in to the team that silver and blue done did it again.
Let me see if we are live now. Let's see here. It's got a little bit of a delay. I want to see if it's on.
Okay.
Okay, yes, we are. We're just on a little bit of a delay, but what's good, everybody? It is Big Game James here. And you know how we do. We just talking Cowboys football. We've been doing it the last few days. We have my guy Brandon Tucker in here. We talked about all kind of linemen. He's the D-line whisperer, as I call it. We brought my guy Kyle Humans in for the late night hype. He did an excellent job. You know, Skywalker did his thing getting in Kyle Humans. And so, but today I said, you know what? I hollered at somebody who they called the unicorn. They called him the unicorn. So this man, Matt Johnson, I wanted him to succeed so bad at this safety position. I was able to get a hold of him on Twitter. He's here today. So introduce yourself right quick, big dog, and we're going to jump right into it.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. Like you were saying, Matt Johnson, I got drafted 4th round, 2012, played safety. Unfortunately, a ton of injuries, kind of had my time cut short for the Cowboys, but was on the active roster for 2.5 years, and eventually it was injury settlement, and right before 2014 started up. So, but yeah, I grew up a Cowboys fan, so I'm excited to talk Cowboys ball.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I was, like I said, I talked to Philip Tanner. He was on the show. It was a great show, and I just happened to see him tweet you. And then I was like, oh, hell no. He just tweeted Matt Johnson, I'm going to hit him up because it's crazy, Matt. When I was watching I've been a Cowboys fan since birth. Just like, you know, my father was raised me up on it. So I had no choice with Cowboys football. There was nothing but Cowboys raised in Texas. So there wasn't no other thing. You feel me, Matt? But, when you were we always have been talking about we need a safety, we need a safety. And so there when I seen you get drafted, I said, okay, who is this dude? I want to check him out. I went over there and watched the tape, and a little background. You went to a was it FBS school at that time, or was it a small school, Eastern Washington?
It was FCS, so Division I AA, the step down from like big football. But yeah, and we have the red turf too, so I know that's kind of what Eastern's known for. And actually, my junior year, we won the national championship. The first year we had the red turf, so pretty. And now like guys like Cooper Cup and Sampson, guys that played for the Rams, are all from Eastern Washington. So
And see, that's what's nasty. You paved the way.
there's guys before me for sure, but yeah, my class and the class kind of before me, we had a few guys like Tylon Jones.
Mhm.
He's still in the league. He's with the Texans now. He was my class actually, but he left a year early. So we've had a ton of guys. There's a ton of guys that go up and play CFL, but we've been pretty fortunate having a few guys get drafted and a few guys succeed in the NFL. So.
Well, let's talk about your career right quick before we jump into Dallas, man. Because like you said, the red turf, it was crazy. I went and did once I heard they drafted you because I was really intrigued about the safety position and how bad we needed a safety. So, like you said, the red turf threw me all the way off. I'm like, how did they even play football in that? Like, that don't throw you off if you're playing on the turf. But I seen this video and I can't remember. It was like laying the boom and you was knocking people out on this tape, dog. Like you was smacking them out of bounds. I mean, these dudes was getting blown up. I said, who in the hell is this man? But let's talk about your career in Eastern Washington. Like you said, you got a national championship your junior year. You left there the 5th all-time leader in tackles with 341, 8th all-time in the whole league's history. 17 interception times for first most in your school history, right? And you were first in school history with 6 forced fumbles. Tell me about your time like at Eastern Washington and what made you really commit there. Did you get any big school offers?
Well, I'm a twin brother, so we grew up playing, and he played outside linebacker. He was always about 10 pounds more than me. And so coming out of high school, we knew that it'd be kind of tough for both of us to get a scholarship, let alone, anywhere. And so we had a few scholarships at like bigger schools like Washington State and Oregon State, but would only give one of us a scholarship. So Eastern was kind of the first school that offered both of us. We went on a visit and just kind of fell in love with the small town feel and kind of the camaraderie of the whole team and stuff. And actually ended up being the best thing that we both did. Just, we won a ton of games there, won a national championship and met a lot of cool people. But yeah, Eastern was a great experience for me. I got lucky to be able to play, early on. We all redshirted our freshman year. So everybody from my class, they got messed up with like the paperwork. So we all had a red shirt, which actually was a blessing too, a year to get bigger and stronger and faster. And then, started every single game that I played there and was fortunate to be able to play free safety and strong safety. They kind of gave me the leverage to play both. So I was able to drop down in the box and play that kind of outside backer type and then play in the post and be able to read the QB and go make plays on the ball. So I was fortunate that they let me kind of use everything that I had, all my tools, and, kind of showed up with the stats that I ended up with. So.
Yeah, man. I mean, those stats are crazy. I mean, like you said, you redshirted your first year. You had 4 interceptions your redshirt freshman year, 6 interceptions your sophomore year, 5 the year where y'all won the national championship. You had a school record 4 in one game, which is ridiculous. Talk about that game right quick. You had 4 freaking interceptions in one game, dude.
Yeah, it was the game we played in Seahawks Stadium. It was against technically our rival Portland State. So every year we'd go play in Seahawks Stadium, and we kind of just mixed up our coverage that game because actually the year before they kind of diced us up, and I think QB threw for like 500 yards, and so we kind of switched up where I was dropping down. And honestly, the first 2 picks were he thought I was dropping down into a different slot and confused him, and then 2 deep balls kind of late in the game when they were trying to come back, just out jump the receiver. So yeah, it was pretty cool experience. It was a senior night and it was my sophomore year. So senior night for the seniors was pretty cool for them to have that day and kind of like, so it was cool.
Yeah, I mean that had to be ridiculous. 4 interceptions in one game, and not just that, not just the thing that I think the Cowboys and other teams that were excited about you was like not just your range. You were a huge tackler. Like I said, you had 341 tackles, 105, I believe, the year you guys won your national championship. So you were
Yeah.
pretty versatile. Now your seat going into your senior year, you were doing good, but you had a shoulder injury that kind of really, I don't know if it really derailed things, but did that shoulder injury kind of make, was it kind of a little bit harder in the draft? It dropped you a little bit. Talk about that.
Yeah, so my it kind of sucked. We had a lot of guys coming back after the national championship, and actually, like on paper, we were probably as good or better than the year before. And within the first 3 games, we had like 7 starters out for the year. So my second game just got kind of clipped from behind on a punt and landed on my shoulder wrong, and I knew it popped out, and so got like MRIs and stuff the next day, and try to play through. I tore my bicep tendon off the bone, and I tried to play through for like 3 or 4 more games, and it got to the point where I couldn't even, run down the field without it killing me. So I think I ended up playing 6 games or 5 games that year, but it was kind of killing me from the beginning, and so that kind of sucked. And then I had to get surgery, and yeah, that kind of slowed down. That's why I wasn't at the combine. And luckily for me, my pro day was pretty impressive, and putting up 18, I think I did 18 reps on the bench, which most of the teams just wanted to see that I could even bench at that point. So doing that was big. And being a small school guy, after the pro day, I had workouts basically every single day for the 3 weeks leading up to the draft, whether it be flying out to teams or teams coming to Eastern Washington working me out. Literally, I don't think I had a day off after my pro day up until the draft. So being a small school guy, that's kind of what the process goes through. And it was awesome. I was fortunate I loved it. And by the end of it, I was exhausted, but it definitely paid off. So.
Yeah, that had to be exciting because, like you said, it's a little maybe different feel from coming from a small school. Even during that process, when the teams were looking at you, for people that's in the chat and in the feed, a lot of people don't know how the draft process goes. What kind of goes into that after the pro day and the teams kind of contact you? Do you really kind of interview with the teams? Does your agent deal with things? Well, how does that process kind of go?
Agent's usually the one that like kind of handles everything, but it kind of depends. I think I flew out to 5 different teams, so able to visit them, and they have a limit on people they can take in. I think they can take in, it used to be 30, it might be different now, but so 30 college prospects that they can kind of take into their facility. We don't really work out there, but they get to see you in person, see how big you are, so they get to see you in meeting rooms. But then I had a bunch of teams come out, whether it be, assistant DB coaches or scouts come out and put you through workouts where they film it and then bring it back to their organization. So, and then they also work you on the board at Eastern too. So I know I think I flew out to, Dallas, Philly, Chicago. I can't remember the other 2. And then I had all those people come and work me out. And it was kind of every single day you had to work out, or you had something in the weight room or something on the board. And, like New England's kind of known for putting you through stuff, and I was on the whiteboard with them for like 3.5 hours, and we did a workout real quick. It was like a 30-minute workout, but they just wanted to know if you know your X's and O's. And I was fortunate that at Eastern, I kind of, being there for 5 years, I knew the game pretty well. So I think everything kind of bode well for me. And then workouts, I kind of was able to show that I can move, and being a bigger guy, that I think they all kind of like that. So.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think that's one of the things intrigued, because we're about to talk about when you did the Dallas Cowboy process, because I think the thing when I read up on you and I seen you before I knew anything about you was your size. You were listed at 6'1", about 215 pounds. You ran a 4.5. Like you said, you did 18 reps on the bench press, was what they wanted to see. Your shoulder and everything was good. So let's talk about the Cowboys. Well, first of all, before we talk about anything about that, the Cowboys, your father, deep Cowboys fan, is your family Cowboys fan, or is just your dad?
My dad, our whole family is, just because my dad. But yeah, my dad's a huge Cowboys fan. Tony Dorsett was his favorite player. So I grew up, Emmitt Smith was my guy. I was 22 in Pee Wee football, and like my earliest memories of football is watching Cowboys Thanksgiving game. Like, and I don't know how young I was, but that's like the earliest memory I have of any football. So yeah, Cowboys through and through.
Yeah, see, and that's crazy. Like, okay, so you're in your draft process, right? Cowboys is your team, your dad's team. We loving it. So, what was it like to actually get the call from the Cowboys? They want to look at you, want to talk to you. What was that like? What was the feeling?
So going through the workouts was kind of like I said, those 3 weeks were kind of a blur. But every single time I got a call from the Cowboys and going down and visiting, like that was the coolest thing by far because we stayed at the Gaylord Texan, which is like a city in itself. I mean, everything in Texas. So I remember getting there and calling my parents and being like, yeah, I just got lost in the hotel. Like I don't even know where the hell I'm at right now. And then going to visit the stadium and the facility. And it was, you know, when the practice facility was still in Irving, so it was kind of older, but it was just the nostalgia of Cowboys. And then I think on my visit, like Troy Aikman was in there just talking to everybody, and you know, my dad thought that was the coolest thing ever. So yeah, it was crazy. It's hard not to get like awestruck because you know you're trying to get drafted to a team and you don't want to act like the stage is too big for you. But
Right.
you know, obviously I was hoping the Cowboys would take me, and every time I was around people like that, it was pretty dang cool.
Yeah, I mean, so what was it like when you first met Jerry Jones?
It was awesome. I met him on that first visit, and because you have to back in the old facility, it's quite a ways to get back to his office, and it's kind of surreal. Like those are certain moments that you kind of like it like goes in slow motion a little bit. But
Right.
and Jerry was the nicest. Like and I tell the story to people too. My rookie like training camp, you know, and we'll probably talk about it, but I was hurt, so I wasn't really practicing a lot. And he saw me in the parking lot of Oxnard, and my parents' names are Sean and Carrie. And he's like, "Hey, how are Sean and Carrie doing?" Tell him I said hi. And I'm just like, you know, for the owner, you know, I haven't done anything for this organization at all yet. And for him to say that about my parents and care about that, like, you know, that kind of stuck with me for a long time. And he cares about his players, and he cares about Dallas Cowboys football, you know, more than anybody. So.
And see, that's what I think. That's one of the biggest things that is people don't understand is every Dallas Cowboy player I've had on here, Matt, they've said the same thing you said. He cares about his players. He cares about the Cowboys. He cares about winning. But the biggest thing they say, he cares about the players. And for me, I would be huge for me too, being a player from a small school, haven't played a lot, and you know my mom and dad's name, first names. Yeah, that's gonna make me feel a good type of way. You know what I mean? So let's talk about when you actually got drafted. Draft night. What was the family like? What was it like when you actually got that call from the Cowboys?
So we actually rented a hotel in Cheney, where Eastern Washington is, because my brother, they actually had their spring game that day, and he was still playing. He got a 6th year because he had a few injuries, and so we're just sitting in the hotel. And you know, being from a small school guy, not going to the combine, I wasn't sure, you know, even if I was going to get drafted, let alone the 4th round. And so actually it was pretty funny. My dad was out working on my truck in the parking lot. My mom was asleep in the room. My brother was like half asleep. So, you know, nobody's really paying attention that much. And then I got a call. I looked at my phone and it said Dallas, Texas. And, you know, it was Jerry Jones on the phone. So I answered it and I said, you know, he said, you know, hey, Matt, this is Jerry Jones. And I said, hey, Mr. Jones, kind of just so everybody can understand, hey, this is Dallas Cowboys on the phone. And then after that, it was kind of like pandemonium. And I had a bunch of buddies kind of running through the hotel, like, trying to come see me. And I was on the phone for like close to an hour, maybe more, like doing interviews and stuff.
Right.
So I didn't get to like, you know, hug anybody or talk to anybody. I can just see them all kind of celebrating. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was, you know, talking to Jerry and then Coach Garrett, and then, you know, Rob Ryan was the DC at the time. So got to talk to all those guys. And then I did a bunch of like media stuff right after that. So.
Well, look, while we're going through this process, I pulled up the scouting report on you. I went through the draft, and actually this draft that you came through is the infamous Morris Claiborne draft, which a lot of us are angry at that draft right there. But Tyrone Crawford in that draft. And I'm going to ask you a few questions about him. Tyrone Crawford still with the team. Everybody trying to get rid of him, but he's still banging it, still doing his thing. This wasn't, quote unquote, like we thought the greatest draft. Danny Cole, we thought that was going to be the Cole Beasley, whatever. But I just want to look at this right here, what they said about you. They had a high marks about you back then, basically saying that there's a chance Matt Johnson, the safety from Eastern Washington, has a chance to be one of the steals of the draft. Combining the fact that he played at a small school, missed most of the 2011 season due to injury, you see why he's a middle round prospect. But you got a B+ grade. They said he can read the quarterback's eyes well, reacts, and with the best safeties in the class, collected 17 interceptions in 45 games. Terrific athlete that moves well sideline to sideline. And like you said, you played in the box, you played the strong safety, and you played the free. And I think that's what the Cowboys were looking at, that you were versatile, because even now they still like to have the versatility on positions. So you get drafted. You get ready to come into camp. Talk about what that was like coming into Dallas Cowboy camp for the first time.
It was crazy. Obviously, the first thing we did was the rookie minicamp, which was like 3 days after you get drafted. And that was awesome. It was, 105, I think, the first day. So we're all I'm from Washington. And so the humidity got me and the heat got me. But, I think that rookie minicamp was a big reason why I kind of stayed around a lot, even though, I didn't really play a ton just because of injuries. So the rookie minicamp was pretty crazy to just fly around. And it was a busy 3 days. There's not a ton of people on the field, so you're getting a lot of reps. And then being from Eastern, I had to go back to school because we're in quarter systems. So I could only come to the minicamp like the last 3 days, which kind of sucks just to sit back at home and, I can't really be there. So I was able to come the last 3 days of the minicamp, got to get some work in with the vets. And I think I was second string by the end of that. And then actually, as soon as minicamps were done, all the rookies stayed for that month leading up until training camp, trying to get workouts in and stuff. And actually that first workout after our mini camps is when I first got hurt, threw my back out, just doing a normal, single leg squat. Actually I had to be like carried out of the weight room. It was pretty scary. And then I had back issues from that point on, and which kind of caused all my hamstring stuff, which we can get into later. But yeah, that was kind of my first experience. But one of my first memories was the first practice with all the vets in Cowboy Stadium. And I kind of had that like moment where, I was out on the field and Romo's taking the snap and Dez is lined up and Witt's lined up. And, for one play, it was kind of like starstruck, and then you kind of had to snap back into it. So, yeah, that was kind of the first little bit of experiences I had.
That's nice, man. So you said you had that starstruck feeling. You got Dez Bryant, you got Jason Witten, you got Romo staring you down in the face. So like you said, after you got that first little thing, you said you were running with the second team. Now you said you had the freak injury with the back, but here's the thing, that the Cowboys thought very highly of you, because even when you had that back injury, now did the hamstring injuries go during the year? Because the Cowboys kept you on the active roster, so you had to be something good, or the Cowboys had to think something good of you, because they kept you on the active roster, for at least 8 games?
I think it was 8 that rookie year. Yeah. Yeah. And it was just bad timing. So my back messed up and that kind of healed up. But and we didn't know this until I got done playing, but the back kind of caused all my hamstring issues for the 3 years. And so, I get healthy, the back healed up, and then start playing. I can't remember when I tweaked my hamstring, like week 1 or week 2. Mm-hmm. I think it was one before the Seattle game. And so I remember healing that up, and yeah, they were patient with me. I think the biggest thing is every time I was on the field and every time I was healthy, I made plays, and I kind of stood out that way. And granted it's practice, so no fans saw that, but I think that's kind of the frustrating thing that fans had probably, was that, they hear these things and, I'm still on the active roster, I'm still on the roster, but they never get to see me. So, and then actually the most frustrating part was getting ready to play Carolina. And I don't know if it was week 4 or 5 or 6. And, Rob Ryan was kind of known for having packages for people, and had a pretty sweet package for me being able to play in the post and just basically free up and kind of go read the QB's eyes. And I was making a ton of plays in practice. And and on a lot of special teams too. And then actually our Friday, like special teams kind of walkthrough-ish practice, my hamstring popped again. And so then that's the point where I think we try to let it heal up for a couple more weeks and then realize that, just best to be put on IR rookie year. But that one was the one that was most frustrating. That kind of, emotionally got me just because I was working so hard to come back. I was getting ready to play a big role. And then, a Friday right before we get on the plane, it kind of pops on me. So, yeah.
Oh my dog, I'm feeling for you even right now because, like I said, man, it's that's why they called you the unicorn, Matt, because we everything you're talking about is what I'm hearing. This is why this conversation is crazy, because I remember always reading about the practices, how Johnson's looking good, Johnson's doing this. I'm like, man, I can't wait till this dude get on the field so he can show what he can do. And then next thing you know, I think it was that game I remember, and it was like, Johnson's out with the hamstring. I said, oh, man, dog, what's going on with this? So it was really the back injury that really created all those hamstring issues all the way through then, correct?
Yeah, and like I said, we didn't really know it, and it's nobody's fault. Like I had a sore back kind of the whole time playing, but I'm a football player. Like everybody's got a sore back. Everybody's sore all the time. So I probably should have spoke up more and said, hey, my back's still kind of killing me, but we did everything possible, like yoga, switched up my diet. I mean, I never went home like in the off season. I always did extra hammy stuff, extra weight room stuff in the weight room.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was the most frustrating part. It's not like I wasn't trying. It was just bad luck. And I swear it was always the worst timing right before I was ready to go play. Like it got to the point where I could go about 90%, 95%. And then, every time I would try to go that full speed, it would pop. And, I can get away with that in college, but there's no way you can get away with that, NFL football. So,
yeah. That's what happens. Well, let me give a few shout outs to some of the members in the chat, and then we're going to talk about a few other things. Then we're going to talk about this season that's going on with these Cowboys, because I love that you in here, because I love that we have a problem at the safety position. And guess what? I got a safety on the show. So we're going to talk some safety. You feel me? But let me give a few shout outs to people in the chat, big dog. Jessica, Dak Attack, Rue Glock. Boothang, KMT, what's up with you? King Dallas 24, the Ninja with the $5 holla. Appreciate you, big dog. Young Wilson, Aloha with them hollers. You know how we do. Who else we got in here? So many names. Young Wilson. I seen my boy Botch was in here. Appreciate you, big Botch. I know you was talking about the safety position at Earl Thomas. Now, we'll talk about that in a minute. So the first year goes, you're frustrated, right? Everybody's frustrated, but next season, high hopes for you and huge expectations. A lot of people were talking about, he was hurt his first year, but we're going to get that high expectations for you the next season. I had a clip from the Miami Dolphins, but my screen is acting funny. That's why the only reason why I play it. But it was in the Hall of Fame game. You got hurt in that game. Kind of talk about that Hall of Fame game and that injury, because I watched when you made the tackle, you took the angle and you made the tackle. Talk about what happened on that play and how did you get injured?
So a lot of people don't know this. Actually, 2 days before the game, doing a one-on-one, I stepped on Witt's foot, and my ankle popped, and it I heard it pop, and so I got it taped up, but it never really swelled up or anything, and it was still kind of bothering me, traveling, and then even that Hall of Fame game, we get to walk around, the Hall of Fame, and so it's kind of cool just to walk around and see all the busts and everything, and my foot was killing me, and I'm just like, and it didn't swell up, so I'm thinking I just got to tough it out, and so I actually got a shot before the game too, just to be sure, and then the adrenaline usually kicks in, especially Hall of Fame game. I'm playing a lot. It's a big time game for me, and in warm-ups my foot's freaking killing me, and so went through the game. I know that's the play that actually eventually just so I broke my navicular bone in my foot, and that play, that little plan at the end kind of just split the whole bone. I guess I had a stress fracture in it before, and then it kind of just split all the way through doing that. But that bone's kind of hard to tell in x-ray. So like the MRI is the one that eventually showed it.
Mm-hmm.
And was really frustrating too, because that spring, those OTAs, I was really doing well, healthy for all of OTAs, healthy for all of summer, healthy for all of training camp. I was getting a lot of time with Barry and felt really comfortable in the defense. And then that happens, and that's because I think I finally had, my back was under control, my hamstrings were under control. That was probably the year that I was going to, be able to showcase myself. And then, a freak thing happens in one-on-ones like 2 days before we leave for the Hall of Fame game. And then eventually it kind of just goes. But yeah, I mean, that Hall of Fame game was so much fun, just being able to fly around. But a lot of people don't know that, I was, 80%, maybe 85%. I mean, my foot was killing me the whole time. So.
And you know what's crazy about this, big dog, is that a lot of people don't know how, when you're on the outside looking in, you hear about, I'm going to be honest with you, when I was younger and I heard about players having hamstring injuries, and I'm like, you missing 4 games for real? Like, seriously, I never really understood it because, I played sports all through school, but I never really had a hamstring issue or either a hamstring pull. But when I did get one, I understood what the hell people started talking about with them hamstring injuries, because if you get a real bad one, you're not playing, you're not doing nothing for at least a month minimum. You know what I'm saying? So people don't really understand what NFL players go through and how, especially if you're a lower draft pick or maybe like a free agent, how a lot of those guys are playing injured, and probably if they were a star, they probably would be sitting out. But because you are not a star, and because, you may have had the injury bug before, you have to go out there and almost sacrifice yourself just to try to make it. Because if you say, man, my foot's hurt and I can't do it, they'll look at you like, hey, next man up, and then you might not get it back. Can you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, that's 100% true. And it's tough, like you said, for small school guys, because, some advice that my agent gave me was, never step on the field if you're not 100%, because then they can cut you right away. What you show on the field, like, they don't know that you're not 100%. So they think that's you at 100%. And so it's tough, but being a small school guy, a guy that, missed my rookie year with injuries, like, there's no way I was going to, say I can't go. And, it just eventually got worse and worse throughout the game. And, but yeah, you're right. That happens all the time. Like, especially with like undrafted kids are always playing, playing injured, playing hurt. And like you said, if it was, a vet, he's probably going to, especially in the preseason, vets ain't going to play at all. But
right.
It's tough. And that's why, NFL is the way it is, the best of the best. And, you got to get lucky sometimes, and, hard work helps, but I feel like you got to get lucky sometimes with injuries. Like, every once in a while, like guys like, Ray Lewis and people that played for so long, I'm just like, man, what the heck were you doing that I wasn't doing?
Exactly.
I was doing everything I could, man. And I just couldn't.
You like, I'm doing everything this man is doing. I keep getting hurt. It's crazy because, man, I'm just telling you, dog, so many people had high hopes for you, and we wanted to see what you could do. But I got a question for somebody in the chat. My guy KMT asked me, did you ever contemplate playing cornerbacks, or was you always the safety was your position?
I was kind of always a safety, just being a bigger guy that can kind of see the whole field too. I love being a safety just because I can make the checks and stuff. And, I played corner some in practices in college, and even a little bit in Dallas when they needed someone to do some scout team stuff. But yeah, I mean, I got good feet, but I don't think I have corner feet or corner speed. But, I could play cover 2 corner all day and be physical. But yeah, manning up on the outside, that's a different game. So.
All right. And see, I'm glad you're on here, because we're going to talk, because so many people, we're going to talk about this in a minute. So many people, Matt, talk about the transition from a corner to a safety, how, it's easy, just go from corner to safety. And since you play this position and you played it at a high level, I want you to be able to tell the people out here, is it that easy to transition, or, what are the traits that you need to go from a corner to a safety, those type of things. We'll hit that here in a second. But I kind of want to finish up what was going on with your career. So you had the foot injury your second year. Obviously, you're pissed off, frustrated. I'd be mad as hell right now. I would be sitting there. I'm going to ask you, because I know I would be sitting there asking God. I wouldn't try to ask him, but I'd be asking, why me, dog? Like, why you have me to get drafted then if you're just going to have me keep getting hurt? I would be asking God all these daggone questions, man. Woo, woo. Do you feel me? Was you asking? Like, why?
Yeah, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie. And I look back on it now, and I wish I would have enjoyed it more. Like, I wish I would have um, enjoyed how cool it was playing for my favorite team and being in the NFL because, I mean, that was a stressful time just being hurt the whole time. Let alone, I mean, it's stressful anyways being an NFL athlete, but for me being hurt and trying to prove myself, and then being hurt again, yeah, it was easy to always have like pity parties or say why me. And the last year, the last training camp, it really got to me when I think it was like the fourth practice when my hammy popped on me, and it like, I mean, the culmination of all those like 3 years trying to get ready, trying to get healthy, and then, I mean, that's kind of the biggest reason why I retired, because it was hard for me to get healthy. Like, I had a bunch of teams kind of want me to come try out for them, and I'm good to go, and then 2 days before flying out, my hamstring would pop again or my back would slip out, and it was more like mental. Like, as I could have kept doing that physically, I could have kept trying, but mentally, man, it got to me, and it's tough. Like, that's where you see like injuries, and then people come back, and like, I always think it's the coolest thing ever to see someone come back from a big injury, just because the mental aspect is so crazy and so tough, and yeah, it's not easy to do. Like, you got to have a good support system and really trust in it, because it was hard mentally. Really, it did get to me. I'm not gonna lie. And like, I probably shouldn't have, but I cared about like what the fans thought a lot too. Like, I wanted to be out there. Like, I didn't want to be the person that got drafted and played 2 games my whole career. That sucks, but I did everything I could. But not everybody knows that, so it's kind of tough. But
Well, see, I'm glad you're opening a lot of people's eyes, just like you said. Some things, like I like hearing from an athlete's perspective at a high level, because a lot of people don't understand what you guys deal with. You get what I'm saying? Like, a
yeah,
lot of people, the fans or the media, always see the outside. Well, media obviously see a little more, but the fans sitting on the outside end, they only see one thing. And just as you said, you were in your head like, man, I'm letting the team down. I'm letting the fans down. I got to get out here. People talking about me. People don't understand that it's a athletes deal with a lot of things, and especially the mental toll of injuries. There was a string of Miles Austin was having hamstring injuries. Sean Lee was having hamstring injuries. Was it having anything? I know you said you had the back issue, but was it anything going on with the training? Because that's all we was hearing for a while, that everybody was having hamstring injuries.
I know, and I heard that too. And no, as far as I know, like, the training staff was so good. Like, and Cowboys still got the same trainers, and they treated me so good. And I haven't heard anything bad from any players or anybody that's been in the system. And the weight staff when I was there, I know it's a little bit different now, but it's stuff I was doing in college too. So me and Miles, because my rookie year was the last year he was there, and there's sometimes in like OTAs where we're just literally trying to learn how to like run again. Maybe it's our fault, like trying to figure out our stride, trying to figure out something that we can do. Because we all talked about it. We all did everything we could, and training staff took care of us, weight staff took care of us. It was one of those things. And I don't know, it was one of those things we couldn't explain, but
Yeah, I don't think none of us can explain it, because we was all bugging out and tripping how it just kept on popping up. So, um, after the season goes, how did it come about when I think you got injured like one last time? I think it was your third year. So what was that process when they came to you and said, you know what, was it an injury settlement? How did they kind of do it when, as far as with the release of the Cowboys?
yeah. So like, I got hurt like the fourth practice of training camp, my third year. Um, and at that point, I knew they were kind of fed up. I was fed up too. Like, I don't know, we got to fix this, whatever's going on. And so I got like 3 opinions for my back, because I had a couple of slip discs in my back, a couple of bulging discs. And so somebody in California, suggested surgery. Somebody near Arizona was kind of, you can if you want, you can kind of hold out if you want. And then Cowboys, the third opinion said no surgery. So that was kind of tough, because it wasn't a, same decision with everybody. And so my agent kind of suggested, and I was still rehabbing, but he's like, yeah, you're not going to go back on the field until you're 100%. And so I knew, Cowboys aren't going to wait around this time. So it got to the point of like, I think I made the first round of cuts for some reason. I don't know why, but
Because
then
they
the
were
last
still
one was,
believing, dog. Because they were still believing, Matt. Like you had the talent, you had the ability. I mean, think about it, big dog. You was on that roster 3 years. They kept you on that roster 3 years. You kept getting hurt. So they all and plus you was turning up in practice. You was doing the thing. I think like you said, they called you the unicorn. It was almost like a mythical thing because we always kept on hearing in practice how you was not dominating, but Matt is everywhere. We hear Matt Johnson did this. Matt Johnson. Everybody was like, when can this man get on the field? Because I want to see him light people up like he was doing in that video. Get 17 interceptions, dog. Come on, Matt. You was out there killing them.
No, man, and it sucked too because the stuff you guys didn't get to see was like me enjoying myself, getting to play football and doing what I do. Even that Hall of Fame game, like I really wasn't enjoying myself because I was freaking hurting.
Because
so
you was
bad.
hurt.
Yeah. So I know there's actually a cool story with Romo, my rookie year. He kind of said the same thing you did. He watched film and of my college, and he's like, man, you can read the QB pretty well and pretty good in the post, but he goes, you'll never pick me out of the post. And so I started laughing a little bit, and he was dead serious. He's like, no, you're not going to pick me out of the post. I'll look you off good enough. And so my second year, that training camp, sure enough, playing in the post, he threw a deep ball to Dez, and actually a pretty sweet picture of it. And I stepped in front of Dez and picked it, and in that back in the locker room, because I had a pretty good relationship with Romo and Witten and guys like that, just because I stood around and I was trying to be the first one there every time, even though Witten beat me most of the time. And try to stay late just because I want to prove to them too that I know I'm hurt, but I'm here to try to help. And so it's pretty cool to kind of give Romo a little shit after that. And that was definitely the only time that I read his eyes good. Every other time he looked me off. But it was cool. Like some of those moments and getting to the facility early in the off season and Witten and me kind of, in the whirlpool before workouts, kind of just talking about life. And those are the memories that I really enjoyed at the moment. But now I look back on them now and I'm like, man, those are really cool moments because a guy like me who I did nothing to benefit their career, nothing to help them win a championship. They still took time out of their life and their career to help me, and Dez Bryant too. Dez, that story of me getting hurt before the Carolina game my rookie year. I'm back in the training room, I'm getting iced up and, obviously mentally down. And he comes in and he just talks to me for like an hour. Like he almost missed the plane. And he's just talking to me. And, that's a guy that my rookie year, haven't done anything for this program at all. Stud receiver. And he's just, trying to keep my, energy up. He's like, we're going to need you. Just keep up, keep at it. And, that's the stuff that sticks with me. And being a Cowboys fan, growing up and looking at these guys before I made it, it made my Cowboys fandom even more. And that's why I root for those guys. And that's why I was always hoping Romo would get a Super Bowl. And as much as I hate the Raiders, I hope Witt does good other than when he plays the Cowboys. So, yeah.
That's got to be dope. And one thing that I really like what you said about Dez, man, because Dez has a huge heart. A lot of people, don't see that sometimes from the athletes. And even just listening to you about Jason Witten, I'm gonna tell you right now, I've been going ham on Witten. I've been going ham the last year because I said, man, Witten, I'm not hating. But I just felt like it's Blake Jarwin's time, and after some point of time, it's no matter how great you was, it's time. And I just felt like he was stopping the progress. But just to hear, how you said he was always the first one in the building. You know what I'm saying? And he was one of the hardest workers. I mean, that means something to me too. You know what I mean? I got a lot of love for Witt, but I just felt like it was time to go and let Jarwin's season happen. You feel me?
Oh yeah, it was definitely time. Jarman's a stud, man. He's going to blow it up this year.
Oh, yeah. So now, let's talk some Cowboy football, big dog, because we were waiting. Now, I ain't going to hold you too long, but we're going to talk some Cowboys football right now. All right, man?
Sure.
All right, so you tell me, let's talk on the defensive side because that's what is really kind of crazy right now. Everybody's talking about, we got Everson Griffin. I love that pickup. Alden Smith, my homeboy Brandon Tucker has trained him. That is going to be ridiculous. Tyrone Crawford's there. Talk about what do you think about this defense so far, just as you see it on paper?
on paper, and I know I'm a Cowboys fan, so okay. On paper, like their defense looks amazing. Like, and they got studs across the field, and that's kind of what even last year was kind of the same thing. And I think they're just been inconsistent defensively. I'm so excited about the whole defensive staff too. Hearing them talk about how they can disguise stuff more.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be awesome. Just being a DB, because I know watching games last year, like it's tough when I know exactly what coverage they're in. Obviously, the QB does too. And the NFL, you can't really just give away your stuff. I don't care how talented you are. So I'm excited for Van Der Esch to be healthy again and be able to play that mic. Is going to be pretty cool to see him go sideline to sideline. And I think Xavier's going to be a stud, man. Everything I've been hearing, he looks like a game changer. And I think, what is this? Is it his third year this year?
This is his fourth year. This is his contract year.
Then it's a big year. Then, yeah.
So he's got to get this money, man.
Yeah, he's definitely going to step up then. Yeah.
So let me ask you something, because let's talk about the safety position right quick, because I love Xavier Woods ever since he came out of Louisiana Tech. I mean, he had like 14 interceptions. He was almost like you, come out of small school, had 14 interceptions. I was like, oh, man, he's a playmaker. And I think, do you think, because you just mentioned it, the scheme, because we'll talk about Cheeto too, because people were frustrated. Cheeto wasn't turning his head around, and Xavier Woods, would look like a playmaker in college, but we're not seeing it as much in the pros and taking bad angles. Do you think Chris Richard, from what you've seen, you played the safety position, you know the coverages, do you think the scheme that they played handcuffed them, and you think by Mike Nolan and those guys coming in, we're going to see different players, or this is just what these guys are?
It's tough, because I think Chris Richard is a stud coach. Like, and I loved watching him coach guys, and I've heard that, and I just don't know if scheme-wise it kind of matched up with these guys. Yeah, I agree with what you said. It's going to be interesting to see, just because what I've heard, like you said, we can't really see a whole lot because training camp, but hearing that they can disguise stuff more, mix it up more. I think Richard, as far as like getting his dudes to play, the passion that he had, like it was really fun to watch, and I'm really surprised that he didn't get a big time coaching gig, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. All I can really go is off what everybody's saying, and that's what it sounds like, and it's tough because when I first got there, Rob Ryan was the DC, and he was kind of like the mad scientist, like mixing up coverages, mixing up everything. I mean, we put in stuff Fridays before games, Saturday walkthroughs, we're putting in kind of new mixes, and you saw that sometimes we blew coverages, but every once in a while, we'd get a pick six or a loss for 6. And, then Marinelli came in the last 2 years, and that's kind of more my defense, more my philosophy as a coach now too, is, we're going to do what we do and do it really well. And then, because defense is so reactionary, we have no idea what the offense is going to do. So might as well do what we do really well and then react. I mean, that's when Seattle was so dominant for those 2-3 years. Their defense was super simple, cover 1, cover 3, drop down safety stuff. But, man, they were really good at it. And granted, they had freaking dudes. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I think it'll be a good mix-up of being able to disguise stuff and then put guys in the right position to do what they need to do.
Yeah, and that's the key. Now, you said Rob Marinelli, Chris Richard. Now, you got Al Harris in there now. Lindquist just came from college, and then Mike Nolan's the guy. And from what I've heard, and when I've had guys on here, Anthony Wright, who was a quarterback on the team, he said he used to have to go against Mike Nolan, and they were always flipping out coverages and things like that. But something interesting that got me excited, maybe that we might see it with this new regime, how you were talking about Rob Ryan was putting in packages on Fridays and Saturdays, basically like, hey, we might blow some coverages, but we might catch them on some things. But the biggest thing it looked for me was Rob Ryan, like the aggressiveness. Do you think this new staff, from what you may seem from afar, from Al Harris and those guys, do you think they will be more aggressive? And do you like a more aggressive approach on defense, or do you kind of like, let's just kind of keep everything in front of us, or let's just attack? And hey, if we give up some good big plays, that just happens.
I do think they're going to be more aggressive, and that just from afar. And last couple of years, Cowboys haven't been super aggressive. It's kind of tough because me being a coach, like a defensive coordinator now, like I like bend but don't break. I'd rather
you like bend don't break, Come on now. We don't want no more bend, no break, man, up in no Dallas.
No, I know, and but that's the thing. I think Dallas has the dudes to be aggressive and get after it. Like I really do, and I think they got enough depth too, to where the game's changed so much. Here, hang on a sec.
Okay.
Hang on one sec.
Okay. Okay. Hold on.
Yep, I'll be right back.
I got you. Hey, Matt's gonna come right back. In my froze for us. He's got to go take care of a call right quick. He will be right back, and then we'll get some more questions. Shout out to everybody that's in the feed. Matt will be right back. He just got to take a call right quick. But shout out to everybody in the feed. Let's get them likes up. Let's donations pop in. $1, $2 holla. Subscribe. Become subscriber. Let's become a member. Let's have a good time. I'm going to ask Matt a few more things about this defense and how the difficulty is from switching from a corner to a safety. Because if you have watched, in the last few practices, Reggie Robinson, the Cowboys have asked Reggie Robinson to go to safety for moving from corner to the safety position. So obviously when Matt comes back, we'll be able to ask him, like, is that an easy transition from going from the cornerback position to the safety position? People act like it's easy, but I think it's harder than it looks. So we'll kind of just see how that goes and wait for him. Appreciate everybody, like I said, is in the feed. Love everybody who's been chopping it up. I love Matt coming on here and telling his story. As I said, man, he's one guy that I really wanted to do a lot of things with the Cowboys. And I think he would have been good. And when I talk to some people that were in the Cowboys organizations, players and people alike that were there around when Matt was there, they were all like, man, this dude was the truth. It was almost like, I'm trying to think of a player who never really got on the field, but man, was just nasty, but just injuries always just derailed him. Gotta kind of think about that. What's good, Lord Nova? How you doing? Ninja Nuts, what's up? 43 Flex, how you doing? T-Smooth TV, Jim Laws, all y'all in here. I appreciate y'all, man. Like I said, my Rodney, is that Rodney Gay? What's up with you, Rodney Gay? Appreciate all y'all. Like I said, Matt will be back. He just had to take a call right quick. And then we're going to talk about, the Cowboys, what's going on. Obviously, training camp went again today. It was another exciting day. And I'll tell you right now, I'm excited. The guys that are really stepping this rookie class, I just want to ask you guys before Matt comes back, do y'all think this rookie class can be like the 2016 rookie class? We saw what that 2016 rookie class did for the Cowboys, made them cornerstones, building blocks. You look at this 2020 class, CeeDee Lamb is looking the part. Everybody's saying he looks the part. I mean, I've seen him just in a little bit, and he looks like the truth, and he's going to be ridiculous. Trevin Diggs is my pet cat, y'all. Oh my gosh, I love Trevin Diggs, and I just can't wait to see what he's going to do. I'm telling you, dog, them two players right there are going to be like the Dak and Zeke to me. They're going to be like the Dak and Zeke to me, like they were in 2016. They're going to be like the Dak and Zeke to me. Trevin Diggs probably doesn't start this year, but he's going to get plenty work. He's going to get a lot of time, and those two guys are going to be ridiculous this summer. They've already getting them acclimated quicker than anybody else. And like they said, CeeDee Lamb looks the total part. I mean, he is already doing what he did in college in these pros. Every highlight I'm watching, he's killing these corners. You feel me? And then when I see Trevin Diggs having the mind of the receiver, and the biggest thing to me with Trevin Diggs is that you have your brother Stephen. So even when this COVID was going on, you were able to train with a pro type receiver, and not just a pro receiver, an elite receiver. I think that really helped Trevin Diggs more than anybody else, because the cornerback position is one of the hardest positions to come into the NFL, in my opinion. But if you have an all-pro receiver that you're training and going against all the time, especially with this COVID's going on, I think that's what you're seeing, the skills starting to come out after the first few days. Like how Yeoman said, after the first few days of Diggs getting acclimated, you're starting to see the interceptions. You're starting to see he's all over the field, the long arms, the reaction ability, the turning around, the playmaking ability. Bradley and Nye is stepping up. They said, man, and I told y'all, DPR, Bradley and Nye, the Annihilator, is the DPR, designated pass rusher. You got Griffin, you got Alden Smith, you got Crawford, you got all these guys on the line. Just put Bradley and Nye as a designated pass rusher his rookie season and watch him get like 5-6 sacks on the freak. Just because he's coming out there, you ain't thinking at him. Send him on a blitz. Here he comes. Boom. Melville Gallimore. We had Brandon Tucker. He's training him. He said all he has to do is get his hands together. But, man, he has the power. He has the ability. He just got to get acclimated. And the good thing about it is that he doesn't have to get the pressure of stepping up and starting right now because he has a good front line ahead of him. That's what you want. You get what I'm saying? That's a great thing. And then, as you said, Reggie Robinson, he's not getting a lot of time at the cornerback spot because guys are playing really good. So, hey, let's throw him at safety and let's see how he works at safety. So I'm just really excited about this class. I'm asking y'all, can this class right now be like the 2016 class? Just by looking at it, even with the COVID going on, even with no rookies, no camp and things like that, do you think this class can match up to that class? I want to hear what you guys got to say on that. I might open the phone lines here in a little bit. Once again, my question to you guys is, do you think this class will be like the 2016 class, this 2020 draft class? Will this be like the class of 2016? Because that 2016 class was dope. Look at this 2020 right here. Jim Law says yes. Who else? Tell me, what do y'all think? Yes or no? Do you think this class can be nasty like that? As we wait for our guy, Matty Johnson, to come on back in. The Lunatic, what's up with you, big dog, big homie? Shout out to all the people that gave donations already. Young Wilson, the Ninja, my dog. Derek Evans with the $5 holla. Charlie Bridges with the donation as well. Appreciate the donations. Thank you very much. Once again, the donations keep free speech, keep us up and grounded and doing what we want. You know what I mean? But once again, let me know. Do y'all think this 2016 class can be, do you think this 2020 class can be like the 2016 class? We saw Ezekiel Elliott come out of there. We saw Dak. Malik Collins is gone, but he came out of there. A lot of good players came out of that 2016 draft, especially the two people in Dak and Zeke. And I think CeeDee Lamb and Trevin Diggs can be the Dak and Zeke of the 2020 draft. Tell me what y'all thoughts of that. Yeah, there ain't no Dak, but I'm talking about the impact on the game. You saw what Dak and Zeke did their first year, the impact they did. They were the dynamic duo. I think you got a dynamic duo in a CeeDee Lamb and a Trevin Diggs, and I think those are our first top two guys that, to me, they will be the Dak and Zeke of the 2016. I think those are the two guys that are going to really turn up and show some heads. I already said CeeDee Lamb is going to return 2 punts for touchdowns this year. My dog Jay Tuck said he's going to be the leading receiver and yards and receptions. That's a bold prediction, but hey, I like it. We'll see what happens. You know what I mean?
So, man, sorry about that.
Nah, you good, big dog. I was just asking them. Since you came in here, everybody else is going to jump in here and ask this question. But the 2016 class, we saw how nasty it was. Zeke came out of there. Dak came out of there. This 2020 class, I know we haven't played, but, man, it's ridiculous as far as the talent goes. I said Dak and Zeke were the two guys. I'm thinking CeeDee Lamb and Trevin Diggs because them two just give me goosebumps. What do you think about this 2020 class, and do you agree with me? Can Trevin Diggs and CeeDee Lamb be the Dak and Zeke of the 2020 draft?
I mean, that's asking a lot just because those two are freaks. But I agree, man. What I've seen from Trevin in practice is he's a ball hawk, and that's, Cowboys DBs have not really been that as much, other teams in the league. And so, seeing to turn his head and play the ball is a natural thing. Like a lot of people, that's tough to coach. So I think that's going to be huge, get in nickel situations and eventually, get him in the rotation. And then CeeDee's a stud, man. I still can't believe he fell to us in the draft. Like, other teams really messed up.
The Raiders took Ruggs, big dog.
I know. I know.
What was they thinking? Thank you, they did it. But what was they thinking, dog? Like, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm just got excited, man, watching him run these routes. I mean, I'm a Texas boy. I'm like the University of Texas, so I saw what he did to us at Oklahoma. You feel me? But just watching him, man, this man looks like the real deal.
He does, man. He looks smooth. He's got the size. He's like a prototypical receiver nowadays. And then you match him up with the other two, and he's not going to get doubled. Like, I mean, him, put him in the slot or put him outside, he's going to beat, your second or third corner, every single time. So Dak's going to have options, and I know how much he loves tight ends and throwing down the middle of the field, but I mean, he's going to have guys on the outside open whenever he wants. So
yeah, that's going, and that gets me excited. Now, I want to ask you, since, like I said, I want to stay on this secondary type thing. Who would be your starting secondary right now from your top five? Who would be your starting secondary right now?
See, and that's tough because I don't know who's really rolling it with and with safety with Xavier. I'm not totally sure. Hey, stop. And then I know Cheaty's doing well. So who right now is the starting? I guess the starting four. Who's the nickel? Hang on a second.
The dogs, man. Hey, I'm gonna wait till he comes back with them dogs.
Yeah, no, that's. And then my wife lost the other dog. We just moved into a new house with like a lot of land, and the other dog like ran away, and she's freaking out. I'm like, it's a dog. He's gonna come back. So, yeah.
Well, right now they got because Jordan Lewis is out right now. He's got an ankle injury. Daryl Worley's been battling. Cheeto, he's had a little bug here. Anthony Brown, obviously Trevin Diggs. They talked about moving Reggie Robinson from the corner to the safety spot. Dix got demoted, and they said Thompson is the guy that's starting right now with Woods, and that's why the Earl Thomas talk is out there. But who would you, if you had your pick of those guys I named, who would be your two starting outside corners? Who would be your slot guy, and who would be your two safeties?
Man, that's tough. Like ideally, I don't know. This might not be till the middle of the season, but I think Cheeto and Trevin, and then I love Brown in the slot.
You like him better than J. Lou?
Oh, true, man. No, see, I would go to start. I go Cheeto and Brown outside, and then J. Lou on the inside. But I like J. Lou and Anthony Brown are both good slots in my eyes. And then I think Trayvon's going to be a playmaker before too long. See, the nice thing is, man, they got options, and most of them can play the ball really well, or at least have the capability of doing it. So, I mean, that's my biggest thing is like turnovers and getting the ball back. Like that's one thing, the years that Cowboys have been legit contenders, like they have a ton of turnovers, and the years like last year, I don't know, like minimal turnovers, and the talent on that defense that shouldn't be the case. So hopefully this year's different.
Would you bring in Earl Thomas?
See, and that's tough, man. I've seen so many and heard so many red flags as far as like chemistry type stuff, and Cowboys are still young as far as their leaders.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. And not being able to see training camps is really tough too. Obviously he'd still be, he'd be a game changer. And the nice thing about having Earl back there is you take away, half the field or middle of the field, wherever he's going to be at, you take away that deep threat, and that's huge. I wouldn't, just because I love the feel of the team right now with the young leaders and how, it'd be cool to see them step up. And, they've had guys like Dak and stuff like that have had Romo to lean on. They've had Witt to lean on,
Mm-hmm.
their turn. And it's tough to say no to a talent like that. But I believe in Xavier Woods, and it's weird seeing that HaHa got demoted, and I don't know the whole situation behind that. But I don't know. And Earl Thomas is getting older too, but he's still He's still a stud.
He's still good though. See, look, I'm gonna answer it for you. I know you on the fence right now. You straddling. You straddling. It's okay, cause I this is what we did. I did a show, right? Me and my homie did a show, and this was before he got released, and we were talking about Dallas. Anytime somebody releases a player, Dallas is always go to Dallas, go to Dallas. Everybody's always like go to Dallas. So Earl Thomas, we were like, you know what? I think it's a no for us on Earl because the drama. You know, do we really need all that? But then the next day they released him, Matt, and then I then they did. Then they released him, Matt, and I got on Twitter. I said, "Can I change my mind?"
Yeah, it's different when it's open. Like it's different when it's a possibility. So.
I mean, you feel me? Because this is the way I look at it. And tell me what you think. I hear what you say about the locker room and the mindset, the young guys. I feel you on all that. That's what I felt. But then I also said, if you get this man on a 1-year deal, he's 31 years old. I don't think his skills is declining in 1 year. He's 31 years old. You just said that he can peel off half the field. And we have been talking about maybe that Baltimore defense didn't fit his style of play. Maybe the Cowboys defense would have been more aggressive and let him roam a little more. Maybe that fits him better. And he's a Texas boy, and he loves the Dallas Cowboys, and you have Mike McCarthy as your coach, and you might be on a 1-year deal. So do we really think if you probably going to try to get at least maybe one more contract that you really going to act up on a 1-year deal for a team that you always want to play for and you have a Super Bowl coach?
Hey, all those are great points. And that's a really good point that he loves Texas and he loves the Cowboys. And I don't know if he's going to, act up in that situation. So, I mean, now that you say all those points, like, obviously it'd be awesome to get him on a team and see how it all works out. Like, I think we'd be fine without him, but definitely, having him there. And little things too, like, he might not play every single snap just because he is kind of getting up there, but, sharing his stuff with Xavier and sharing his stuff with Darian, like those guys learn so much from vets. Yeah, I mean, you made a lot of good points. Like I don't know if Baltimore's defense was his zone. I know obviously Seattle's was flourish in that defense, and so. But yeah, him being a Texas boy and loving Cowboys so much, he might be on his best behavior, and if that's the case, then that's a steal.
Yeah, I'm feeling like just do it. Because I feel like championship teams do this type of thing. I've seen plenty of players, and you've played in the NFL. You've been there. You've been in the locker room, Matt. We've seen plenty of players, when they say locker room, you've been in it. They might be a locker room bad cancer in one locker room, but come into another one, and nobody even says any of that. I've seen plenty of players leave a locker room. They said, we don't want you. You go to another locker room, and they're like, come on, man, we having a great time with you. We don't see that. So I think that changes per team. You know what I mean? And I think the Baltimore Ravens also, they wanted to get their young guys in. And I feel like they wanted them young guys to play. So if you do anything wrong and the team wants to move on from you, they'll find any little thing. You already know.
I agree. And I agree. You should do it because this is what championship teams do. Like you look at it, a bunch of teams that won Super Bowls make big time, off-season moves or right before the season start moves that become huge in playoff runs. So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, see, I know I get you on my side. I just had to sway you and throw some things. I'm good at that. I'm a good person. If you say no to me, I can get you to say yes. You're gonna learn that, man.
I know. I was on the fence, man, and now I'm not. So, yeah.
I got a quick question, and then we're gonna talk about one of my guys in the chat. My guy KMT. Because, you had the injury thing, and he wanted to ask you what you thought about Alex Smith's comeback. That was a brutal injury. You dealt with the injuries. That was a brutal injury with that leg. What do you kind of think about his comeback? He's going to be in our division. What do you think about his comeback, dude? Would you do that after you almost lost your leg? Would you come back and play football?
Man, that's the coolest story that I've seen in a long time. Like his E60 thing. And actually, I know you and me were talking before this. I've had a few major stomach surgeries the last couple of months, and actually worked out where that E60 thing came out when I was recovering from my first one. It made me feel like a baby for acting the way I was, and it just shows how much the game of football means to people. But but his attitude was so amazing. And, the fact that he's still out there, it's such a cool story. And I encourage people, if you haven't seen like the whole E60 thing and seen everything that he went through, and, times where people didn't even know if he was going to wake up because he got so infected, and now looking at it and the way it looks, and he's just so happy to be out there. I saw a clip of him, just doing a handoff drill and smiling the whole time. And, that's pretty dang cool, because, he was a first overall pick, made more money than he'll ever need. And he's just doing it for the love of the game and just being a competitor. And it's people like that, like, make you, as much as I hate the Washington football team, like, I'll root for him.
Yeah.
As much as I hate that team, but you cannot not root for him. It's a great story.
Yeah, it's an inspiring story. And just like you said, I can't stand the Washington football team because I almost still be trying to slip out Redskins. I've been trying to say the Washington football team. I had people correct me and say, stop saying that. And they Cowboys fan. It's not the Redskins. Okay, my bad, dog. Just chill out. You know what I'm saying? I'm used to saying Deadskins and stuff. But I wanted to ask you a quick question. Now, how, is it easy to transition from corner to safety or from safety to a corner? Like, what is the biggest transition, and why is it so different from a corner to a safety?
Well, I would say, and this might be biased because I am a safety, but I would say going from corner to safety might be a little bit easier as far as like skill set. I'm telling you, being a corner on the island, you have to be so technical, let alone be the fastest people in the field, fluid hips and stuff. But your technique, if you're off by one step, your technique and your eyes, because in the NFL you can't touch receivers like at all, so you can't cheat that way. It's all footwork, it's all eyes. The difference is you got to be a little bit more physical as a safety. You see the whole field, whereas like a corner, you're so locked in. You kind of rely on safeties and other people to tell your checks and say the formations, things like that. So you have to be a little bit more cerebral and know the defense probably as a whole a little bit better as a safety. I'm not saying, corners are dummies or anything, but, we used to joke in the room that, safeties are the smart ones, corners just, line up and play football. And I think that's the biggest thing mentally and physically. You got to be a little bit more physical. It's a different game as a safety. You're not usually lined up on someone, straight across from you. You gotta read the play as a whole. It's just tough. They're just two different skill sets that, at the NFL, at the NFL level, you got to be able to do, your craft so well. And then if you got to switch it up, it's tough. That's why people that do that, guys like, Charles Woodson back in the day and stuff like that, it's amazing. And you got to be savvy. Like if you do both, you got to be really football savvy and know the game really well, and then have great technique. So,
got you. Now, tell me about the difference between a strong and a free safety. What does a strong safety really need to know, or what is his great traits that need to stand out for the strong safety position, and for the free safety spot, what makes them really good, and what do they need to really see? So, because like when we watching the Cowboys and they're talking about strong and free, or we're going to have two free safeties, or we're going to, how does the differentiation? How can you differentiate the two when you're on the field?
The game's changing so much that like there's not really very many like true strong and true frees like back in 2013 and 14 when you had Seattle, like Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor. That was like a true strong and a true free. Nowadays they're pretty interchangeable, but a strong safety is going to drop down in the box more, be able to fill the run gaps. A lot of times you'll do run fits with linebackers, so you got to know if a guard pulls, it's going to change your lane, it's going to change your fit. And whereas a free safety is going to be, deep in the post more, deep over the half, covering slots more. Usually free safety is a little bit smaller, more agile, plays the ball better in the air. Strong safety is a little bit bigger, more physical player, can come down and hit you. More sure tackle. We both got to be sure tacklers. Free safety's got to make really big open field tackles, otherwise it's a touchdown. The game's changing so much more, and that's why a guy like Xavier, I think, can do both and kind of fly around. And that's where like the best safeties, you look at like Tyrann Mathieu and guys like that, he's literally playing, slot corners, playing free safety, he's playing strong safety, he's playing backer, he's playing corner. Nowadays the game's changed so much that you really gotta be able to play a ton of different positions. And if you have guys like that on your field, it just opens up your defense so much more.
Right, and then the coordinators can do so much more things as far as opening that playbook because you can trust your defensive guys better. All right,
Yep.
so I'm not gonna hold you too much longer. I just got a few more questions for you, big dog. I appreciate you coming out here. I appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you very much. Um, just what's your kind of outlook on Mike McCarthy? What are your thoughts about McCarthy, and what do you think about the Cowboys season? I know COVID's going on, and I don't want to just sit there and say give me a record prediction or anything like that, but kind of what's your thoughts about McCarthy, and do you think that what the direction the Cowboys are headed is a good direction?
I didn't know much about McCarthy, just being a Cowboys guy and him being Packers dude, but I saw like a little clip on his last season because he didn't coach this last year, and he pulled a bunch of coaches together and they just watched film and I thought that was pretty dang cool. Like obviously he loves the game. Everything I've seen is interviews wise, like he's a really stand up guy, understands the big picture. Um, I think him coming from a big time organization like the Packers are, and obviously Cowboys is as big as it gets. Like the stage isn't too big for him at all, and the players seem to love him and respect him. And I think that's the biggest thing that you can ask as a head coach, especially in the NFL, because you have guys with egos and guys that been doing it for a long time, but to have that respect from your whole team, which it seems like, I think is big. So I think the Cowboys are going in the right direction. I'm really excited about the whole staff, just the experience that everybody has, and hearing the D-line coach talk about Alden Smith, and he didn't even mention anything football for about like 2 minutes. Just
I know.
kind of the guy he is like that. That's so cool to me. Like that was a really eye-opening, and I think as like kind of cheesy it is to say, and I know it's the NFL and talent wins games, but like the teams that win Super Bowls, man, they have the best chemistry. They love each other and they care about each other, and it seems like that's the case. So I don't know record wise. I mean, I think we'll win the division. Like I don't think that's an issue. Phillies kind of always comes up there and kind of sneaks wins away, and Giants might be a little bit better this year. Who knows? And but I think we'll win the division. Obviously, I think we have the talent that can go all the way. We just got to be big when it gets to the point in the playoffs. And I think I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I know with COVID and stuff, I just pray that we have a season.
Man, I know, right? I think that's
all that stuff.
yeah. So I'm gonna give you this last question because I hear the dog barking and he like, hey, come on, hurry up. But you said something, COVID, because I coach football. I don't coach high school. I coach youth football, and our youth football got canceled because of COVID. You said you're coaching right now. Tell a little bit about before you go, Matt. What you're doing now? You said you're coaching. Are you coaching high school football?
I am, yeah. I'm coaching, but we got delayed till in Washington. High school sports or high school football doesn't start till like the end of February.
Oh, so they pushed it back to all the way. They pushed it all the way back then, right?
Yeah, at least that's the plan. I just hope that. I hope that goes through too. But yeah, I'm coaching in high school, and I'm actually an elementary PE teacher, which is kind of a tough gig to turn down. I'll probably end up in the high school soon, but being an elementary PE teacher, kind of being your own boss, is pretty tough to turn down.
Yeah, ain't nothing like being your own boss. Did we freeze right quick? Hope it didn't go nowhere. Did he freeze? I don't know. I think he just froze right quick. Let me see if he comes back. There you go.
Okay.
All right, there you go. I didn't know what happened to you. Hey, man, I just want to tell you before I get off here, man, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. Appreciate all the good knowledge you gave and just your story. I'm going to just tell you right now, I wish everything would have been different, man. I know you do too, more than me, obviously. But I just want to tell you, man, you're a really good person, man, just from talking to you. Hopefully we can have you on again because we're doing we have the late night hype. We have two other people that we do the show every Tuesday. We're gonna have George Teague on he's gonna be doing some of our podcasts, like when we do like post games, like analysis. Maybe if you would like to be able to jump on that one week, We'd like to be able to have you on when we do like a post game show. You can come on in here and give your analyst from the pro side.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'd love to. Thanks for having me on. I'm all about the Cowboys, and you definitely gained a listener for me after this for sure. So I appreciate it. I appreciate you letting me know or let me tell my story too. And a lot of people don't really know the whole situation. So
yeah, well, we're gonna get it out because I'm gonna share the shit out of this when we get off of here.
I appreciate it, man.
Hey, I got you, big dog. But hey, man, I appreciate you. I'm gonna get you off of here. I'm gonna keep going. But thank you very much for taking your time out for me. We're gonna talk again, and salutes to you, and continue to get healthy and stay healthy. And have a great night, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. All right. Let's see here. That one. That was Mr. Matt Johnson. I'm going to open these phone lines right quick. Give me a second. I got to do something. I'm going to open these phone lines right quick. And before you call in, this is a free-for-all, but you're only going to get one call. You can only get one call. I can't get multiple calls because other people want to call in. So please, when you call in, please, it's one call only. That is it, so we can get everybody a chance to call in as well on the line. So give me 1 second. We'll pull this up, and you guys can call in, and we'll talk a little bit, and then we'll get on out of here, man. Give me 1 second while I pull this up. Get my phone line up. Hold on 1 second while I pull this up. Hold on, y'all. I got to get this set up first. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'll pull this up, and then you can call in. All right, I think I'm good now. I think I'm good. So you can call in now to the phone line, 614-349-6221. That is 614-349-6221. I apologize about that. I had to get everything set up. So if you want to call back, remember, one call only one call. Basically, just tell me your thoughts on the Cowboys and, how do you feel about the season so far? And don't talk 20 minutes on here, okay, because we want to be respectful to everybody. Remember, one call minimum, and we'll do this.
Call from
the lunatic.
What's going on, the lunatic? What's up, my man?
The game, James, mi hermano. Buenas noches. Go Cowboys. How you doing? Great interview as always. You always bring us that in depth, especially from former players. Those small details that they bring out. Hey, think about this. Think about that. We as fans don't really appreciate much.
Yes. I mean, that's why I try to do it, dog, because I want to hear it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You have the same questions we do. You have the same concerns saying, hey, what about this? Can you see this? That's why I love it. The excitement is building this year.
Man.
The excitement is building.
It's right around the corner, the lunatic. I'm excited, man, this week 1 against these Rams. But tell me, I want to ask you something since you're on the line. What's the most exciting thing since camp has been going on? What's the most exciting thing for you? What has got you the most excited? Players, coaches, a combination, what?
You know what? Competition. Ever since Pee Wee, you look around and you say, I'm going to be better than that person. I'm going to be better than that. You know, it just makes you better. It brings out the best in you. And then you couple that. So I love competition. I love the competition that's going on. I said it last night. I've been saying it before, where in other training camps, you could, you know, a good guess, you'd know who's going to make the roster, because that's the way Garrett did it. But now you're thinking, man, you know, this player's looking good. Hey, Noah Brown here, Ventel Bryant, you know, Diggs, Robinson, Worley. Hey, what about over here? I mean, just yesterday I heard about the defensive tackle, Hamilton, Nick Eatman from DC.com saying, hey, he might give a good push to back up Poe, and that might move Woods into the 3-tech talk. So, and then again today, the reports, Anai is starting to stand out as maybe Tank backup. All of that. Again, competition. Hey, you don't do anything until you earn it on the practice field. Then you get in the game. That's the way it has always been, unless you were a player, unless you were the Suns coach, all right?
Right. Exactly.
And hell, some of the players under Garrett, I mean, they kind of thought they were his sons, and they were like untouchable. But I mean, now
Jeff Heath was, and that was crazy.
Exactly. Now the players see it, and we start seeing it from the reports. Even though we don't see as much video, you hear it. Hey, this player's making plays. Look at this one. What about this scheme? Even Yeomans, what did he say? Dak looked confused that first week of defense. Well, hell, defense is always going to be ahead of the offense initially. And then what? He's starting to look. The word he used is epic. CeeDee Lamb, we knew we got excited about CeeDee Lamb, but did you catch that? Go back and see the video when you asked him about CeeDee Lamb. Is he the real thing? He leaned in and said, yes. He leaned in. He did that with a lean in and an emphatic yes. Oh, that's why. Competition and then coaching, putting them in winning situations. No more, hey, we're going to do what we're going to do, and if you stop us, kudos to you. Hell no. Because you're going to meet somebody equally matched. Sometimes you got to outthink them. It's a chess match. You got to make your moves and put your pieces in winning combinations. I love that about this camp. Competition and this coaching staff getting the most out of the players.
I totally agree. I love the competition thing. I like the fact that, just like you said, you don't go into there feeling like there's a predestined person on that roster. No matter what you do, that's going to be their roster spot. And I just feel like there's a command and a strong control. I'm not saying that Garrett didn't have control of that locker room, but I just feel like, in my opinion, Mike McCarthy just has that stronger personality as the coach in that locker room. And I just feel like guys were really wanting that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I just feel like it was easy with Garrett. I seen the training camps. I was there. They weren't crazy camps. But I just feel like McCarthy he means business, man. And I also feel like when I heard or talked to a few of the players, quite a few players said that Garrett could not relate to them. I don't hear that from Mike McCarthy.
Exactly. Now, Parcells and McCarthy, they both have the resume. Parcells did it through fear. He put the fear of God in you, and that's how you performed. What did he call the player? And what about Terry Glenn? Oh, I don't know if she's gonna play.
Right.
That was the way he would motivate. Mike McCarthy, all I hear in the interviews, hey, we're out here learning, we're having fun. Guess what? When you start having fun, that becomes dangerous when you get out there on the field, and you got to do it against another team. You keep having fun, you build momentum, and then before you know it, woo! You got an ass whipping going.
And you know what else, the lunatic? When Matt Johnson was on here, something he said, just like you just said here a minute ago, something he said that struck me. He said, listen, people lessen this, but it's huge with that locker room. How he was saying he said when the team is together, when the team love each other, when the team is super close, he said those are the championship teams. Those are the teams that go to the Super Bowl. He said because you're all that we're riding it for each other no matter what. And I feel like this is getting to the approach with the Cowboys. And I know people always say, y'all say this every year, but I'm sorry, little lunatic. This one feels different.
Exactly. The crucible of battle. It molds you. It brings you together and makes you stronger. You know, the sum of your parts. Or what is that saying? You know, you're more than the sum of your parts. This looks like it. We got pieces here. We got pieces here. We got these pieces. We've got these coaches, as I said yesterday. And the best thing, we're going into our Super Bowl window. What else could you ask for?
Exactly. And we got the guys to do it. So it's time. Hey, let's get
You
some
got
other
it, brother.
people on here. Lunatic, I appreciate you, my big dog. We got this thing popping. I'm going to do them decals this week, next week coming up. I appreciate you. I appreciate all your support. I appreciate your good knowledge. Just everything. I appreciate everything about you. And I just got mad respect for you. Thank you very much, man. All day, all day.
Likewise, Big James. Remember, relentless in
Relentless.
2020 to
Yes,
get
sir.
number 6.
Yes, sir.
And
Relentless.
always, puro pinche Cowboys. Have a good one, Cowboys Nation.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. It's my dog, the lunatic, man. I love him. You know what I'm saying? But anybody else wants to call in, 614-349-6221. What I'm going to ask you is when you call in, I just want you to say, what is the biggest thing that's got you excited about the Cowboys this year? Coaches, the competition, like the lunatic says, players, rookies, CeeDee Lamb. What was the one thing that has you most excited for this upcoming season with your Dallas Cowboys? If you want to call in, the number 614-349-6221. Once again, 614-349. We got somebody on the line.
Call from
Dak Attack.
What's going on, Dak Attack?
You ain't no regular DB. You Josh Normal.
What's up,
Man, I
man?
just came up here to let you know, man, your passion you bring to this thing is unparalleled, bro. I appreciate every drop that you got for us.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. Hey, you know, I just try to go hard. That's why I only know one way, big dog. Just like you got Dak Attack, I only know one way, to attack.
Just want to give my shout outs to Auntie Jessica. I know she lingering around here.
Yeah, she's about to call.
Keep y'all held up.
Hey,
And y'all keep on letting Lisa know he holds a big L up in here, y'all. A big fat L up in here. He gets no love.
he's going to hold that L all day. He knows. He don't want to talk about them Rockets, but we'll talk about something else.
Don't want to talk about nothing. He want to hate because he already know haters worry about winners, and we just keep on winning because that's what we do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Be blessed, man. Be blessed.
Hey, appreciate you. Be blessed as well, man. All right. Hey, just appreciate the Dak Attack. Just giving a shout out. Thank you very much. Hey, I'm passionate. I love this team. I love it. And wait till this season starts, dog. Y'all really going to see that passion in them games. If y'all never watched a watch party with us, you about to see what's about to really get. It's about to really get serious.
Call from
Jessica Haggerty.
What up, Jess?
Hi, the gang.
How you doing?
All right. I enjoyed the show.
Did you like Maddie?
You always bring it. I was just upset last night because I was saying something. But anyway, I was just like, saying, you know, with all the clips, you know, everybody been putting in what they feel like or who they feel like, and some of the players they've been talking down on, and some players are not. But then Coach McCarthy come back with his interview, and he be naming off how Dak's doing, how this one doing, how that one was doing in the during the training camp. But all I was saying is everybody is trying to down different ones, big game. But like I said, they got to realize, as I said before, that these players has been off. They ain't been able to do the little training camp, mini training camp, this one, that one, and going in Oshner due to the pandemic. So people got to realize these boys got to get back into the swing of their game. And with the coach we got, this is not Coach Carey top team. This is a new coaching staff. And people got to realize this man is, our boys is going to be dominant like they always wanted to be. Like I said, you have to have a coach to push you. You got to have that coach to uplift you. You got to get to have those coaches that can tell you, say, I know you can do this, bro. I see it in you, and I know you can. I need you to come on with it. I need you to come on with it. Give me your all. Give me your best. Do it. And then, like, when Leg Van Der Esch, you know, they showed a picture of how it looked like he was laying on Zeke's leg or whatever. People need to stop freezing. Y'all got to look at the fact that these boys are doing what they're supposed to do. We want to see them do this. They're not going to hurt each other. Y'all got to realize they're not going to try to deliberately hurt each other because they know, I need my brother. I need my brother here. I need my brother there. We got to work together as a one. Like I said, one team, one sound, working together as one. And let's go, Cowboys.
There it is. I appreciate you, Jess. Love you for life.
Love you, too.
All righty. That's what I'm talking about. One mind, one thought, one accord. You feel me? One mind, one thought. That resonates to me right there more than anything else. One mind, one thought, and I think that's becoming in the building. I think when we had Kyle Humans on yesterday, I think you just heard him say it that just you can feel Mike McCarthy just really taking control of this team early, We got another call.
Call from
T Smooth.
What up, T Smooth?
Man, what up, man? God damn, it's about time I get on here, man. This shit hard.
You on here now?
Man, what's up? I had a quick question, man. So, are we gonna carry 3 running backs and a fullback, or 2 and a fullback?
That's interesting because here's the thing. What I heard a couple of days ago that they were putting. I heard that they were moving Dalton Schultz around and they're possibly looking at him as an H-back.
I heard about that. Yeah,
that kid Anderson. He is that wild card because man, dog, he been looking real good in practice, dog. He got burst. He got that Anderson kid, number 40.
Yeah, so he 6 foot 215?
Yeah,
what's his size?
I think he's like 6 foot or 6'1", and he's like around, like you said, around Tony Pollard size, but he's got a lot of burst. I don't think they're gonna mess with that fullback all like that. Mike McCarthy always has one, but I really think they might convert.
The fullback. I'd like the fullback they got from TCU.
That rookie?
I really do like him though. Yes.
Yeah. I wonder if he makes that roster. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to see what they're gonna do with this Dalton Schultz. If they really start messing with this Dalton Schultz and putting him as the H-back, they're gonna keep that. Because then you can have a Blake Bell, then you have a Blake Jarwin, and then you can rotate Dalton Schultz right back there. But like you said, I like that rookie fullback. So I'm gonna say, go ahead.
Yeah, because I've seen him a couple of times at TCU running the whole game, so I know he can take that load.
And he's a better blocker.
He don't have a lot of bursts, but you can still use him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
maybe on special teams too.
I'm gonna say I think they go with the. I think they're gonna keep that Anderson kid. So I'm gonna jump out on a limb and say they keep 3 running backs.
Yeah. All right, that's all I had to ask, man. I'm still watching.
All right, I appreciate you, big dog.
All right, no problem, man.
Yes, sir. Call in 614-349-6221. What's one thing that's really got you excited about these Dallas Cowboys this year? Coaching staff, players, competition, the one mind, defense. What is one thing that's just really standing out for you if you'd like to call in 614-349-6221? What one thing is just really standing out for you for the Cowboys? For me, I'm trying to think. What's the one thing that I'm really excited about this team? Honestly, The one thing that's got me excited more than anything else is Mike McCarthy. I can't tell you how much we all said, the lunatic, Sky, Law, coaching matters. I don't care what you say. You can have all the talent on the world and still don't win anything because we're going to get to this call. Oh, Lord, we got Eastside Harold calling in. You ain't going to be on here long, man, talking that crazy stuff.
Call from
Eastside.
What up, Eastside?
Hey, man. What's going on?
What's going on?
Hey, man, I just want to know, man. I just been hearing nothing but Dak throwing interceptions in practice. Is that like a drill?
It's
y'all
practice.
doing
It's,
Cowboys?
it's practice. We don't check on the Houston Texans. We don't check on to see if Deshaun Watson is throwing interceptions. I'm sure he is, but come on, dog.
I ain't heard nothing about that from Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, of course you're not going to hear nothing about it because, first of all, I don't check on Deshaun Watson because I don't care about Deshaun Watson or the Texans. So I don't worry about. Come on, dog. I don't worry about nothing Deshaun Watson doing. And I'm telling you, Deshaun Watson. Hold up. Deshaun Watson throws interceptions in practice, so don't act like he doesn't. Now let's keep it real, okay? If you played any kind of sports, and especially if you play in practice, if you're a quarterback, you're probably going to do some things that you're not going to do normally. You're going to try some things. You're probably going to be a little bit more aggressive because you want to see if you can try this in practice and see if I try this enough, can I get away within the game? That's what you're going to do. And also, this is a new defense. This is a guy that wasn't showing one type of defense, one type of set. You have a guy who's giving you multiple looks. So, of course, you're going to be a little bit confused. Of course, those things are going to happen. But at the end of the day, it's practice. I've heard plenty of quarterbacks or players saying in preseason and practice, they look terrible. As soon as the game lights come on, they're two different people. So you want to have these things happen in practice and not the games. So if you have an interception happening in practice, that ain't killing me because if you look at Dak Prescott's career in the NFL, in real life, he's not a high INT guy.
I don't know, man. You ever heard of you practice good, you play good? You never heard that saying, Coach?
I definitely heard that as well, but I also, as I said before, you also got to look at Dak Prescott in the regular season. Does he throw a lot of interceptions in the regular season? No. His worst season was 13 interceptions. That's nothing by any means. I think Deshaun Watson has thrown 10 to 11 interceptions in the season, hasn't he?
Let me ask you, has Andy Dalton took over that starting spot yet?
He ain't taking over the spot. Why do you say that, dog? Like, keep it real. If you look at the stats, I made a video and I said, what's the differences between the four? You look at Dak has one more year than Deshaun Watson. I will tell you right now, to be very honest with you, Deshaun Watson is more athletic to me than a Dak Prescott, and I think he throws a prettier ball than a Dak Prescott. But if you're willing to sit there and tell me as an overall player, I think Dak does bang with him, and I think Dak's leadership and his command sets him right there with a Deshaun Watson. So at the end of the day, if you look at their stats, they're damn near identical, dog.
Yeah. Dak had a fluke season. I mean,
it's not a fluke season, bro. Like, you can't say that. Like, if you're going to talk real football, you got to talk real football. That's not a fluke season. He's been in the league 4 years. You're saying 4 years of fluke. It's not a fluke. So stop saying that. Talk like a real football person. I know you know sports, so it's not a fluke. That's just like me saying Deshaun Watson, he's a fluky player. That's not true. Deshaun Watson is a good player. Stop trying to say Dak is weak. Stop trying to say Andy Dalton is taking his spot. You know Dak's a good quarterback. So just stop saying it, dog.
I don't know.
You know it.
I don't know, man. Your organization's not sold on them, but hey, man.
That's not. I can't say nothing. I can't say what the organization is sold, but what I can say is this: they probably did want to see what he looked like under McCarthy. But at the end of the day, I'm going to say this to you, and I said it from the very beginning. If Dak put up those numbers with Jason Garrett, who's just not to me an NFL head coach, he's a coordinator, I think, or a quarterbacks coach. He's not an NFL head coach to me. And for him to do what he did under Garrett, I definitely feel like you're going to do just as good or better with a Mike McCarthy who's been there and done that and who's notably coached really good quarterbacks under his time in the NFL. So I don't think Dak is taking a step back with a better coach and better players. That doesn't make sense.
Well, shout out my boy Philly Notion, man. That boy is you good people, man. You always speak them facts.
Yeah, he's good. Hey, I love Philly Notion. I was just on his page the other day. I just was on his page today telling him about that unfortunate injury they just had with another player. So I wasn't trying to rub it in his face, but I said it was just unfortunate, and hopefully that line gets together.
Yeah. All right, man. I'm touching base with you. I'm gonna holler at you.
All right, big dog. Take it easy. Appreciate the donation too.
All right.
Yep. What's up, man? 614-349-6221. Anybody else wants to call in before I get ready to wrap this up tonight? I need a $10 holler, man, to end this. Remember, the donations keep the free speech in mind. Shout out to all the members up in the building. Let me toss their names up in here. Shout out to all the members that was in the building today. Really love you guys. If anybody else wants to call in, 614-349-6221. 614-349-6221. Give your thoughts on the Cowboys. What's one of your most exciting things that you want to see, or what one thing excites you for the upcoming season for the Cowboys in 2020? Hey ho, appreciate you again, Eastside Harold, for the $2 holla. Hey man, all I can say is this. When I was before Eastside hit me up, the one thing that's got me excited more than the players, anything else, is the coach. Coaching matters to me because I was a coach. I was going to coach again this year. Coaching matters. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you can't coach it, you're not going to win. You may not have all the talent in the world, but if you can coach, you can raise that talent level up. It's that coaching. That coaching makes a difference. What that coach speaks to you, what that coach talks to you, what he inputs to you, it builds. I mean, I know these are grown men, but it's still the same thing from youth football to high school football to college. When you go in there and you build it the right way, people respect and listen. Got another call here.
Call from
Back in the chat.
Hello.
You ain't no regular DB. You Josh Normal. Hey, man, I don't think Lisa heard me when I called in earlier, bro. You don't get no love around here, bro. You and Philly Emotional need to go sit down in a corner, you bums. Crawl back under your rock, sit back, enjoy the show, and we go show you what football really about. Peace.
All right. Oh, you guys are funny, man. You guys are hilarious. But hey, listen to me. What I'm going to keep telling you, man. Coaching. It matters. Like, you know, when I played, coaches matter. When I had that coach that meant something to me, when I had that coach that just, when he spoke, I wanted to run through walls to him. I would do anything for a real coach. I mean, when I played, when I coached, I had kids who 5, 6, 7 years later come back to me, hey, coach, I'm glad what you did in my life and put it in my life, not even bragging about what I've done, but I'm just telling you, it means everything of how much it can make a difference. And it's going to make a difference in this team, and I see that's what's making the difference. I feel like the team is really buying into McCarthy instantly. One of the reasons why they're buying into McCarthy, because you have a track record of winning. He hasn't been a losing coach. He hasn't been a loser. He does have the chip. He has the ring to show you. He has championship games. He has playoff games. When you have that type of thing, it speaks. I'm trying to tell you. Like I said, I don't keep wanting to go back to Garrett, but as I said before, Garrett didn't have a resume. And I feel like that does make a little bit of a difference. I know Jimmy Johnson didn't come out of college, but we knew Jimmy Johnson was. Jimmy Johnson was no frills. He wasn't playing around coach. That's what Jimmy Johnson was. But when you seen a Garrett come in, he didn't have any stripes. He didn't have anything, okay? And I think it makes a difference when you bring a coach in who's been there and done that. People listen a little bit more when you got a Super Bowl ring. You bring a coach in who ain't won nothing, yeah, okay, we'll see. But you ain't won shit. But you bring a guy who has won and has won a lot. I mean, I think I said he went to 8 straight playoff appearances, 4 NFC championship games, went to one in 2016, not that far removed, went to one in 2014, won a Super Bowl 2010. Like, you get what I'm saying? Players look at those type things. And then when you come in and you're like, okay, I like the authority that he brings, but he can still relate to me on my level. That is what they call that players coach. And when you get that players type coach, you tend to go all out. Once that one guy goes all out, 2 goes out, 3, 4. Then the team starts to build. It gets stronger and stronger. And then, as I said, as you heard in the interview with Matt, hey, when you get that close-knit squad, when you get that close-knit team, then those are the Super Bowl and the championship teams. And right now, I feel like we are here. We've been talked about it too much about, man, it's time. But this is the time because we have the guys that are in their primes right now. You got a lot of guys that are in their prime, and then you mix this good blend of these young players, the sprinkle in the free agents, you get the good coaching, that smells championship. And if you can put it together and you stay relatively injury-free, it can happen. And I don't see anybody in the NFC. I know the San Francisco 49ers. Of course, you're going to have the Seahawks. You'll have the Packers. You're going to have these other teams. But at the end of the day, are we not going to sit there and say the Dallas Cowboys, even without an Earl Thomas, if you don't get an Earl Thomas, but if you did get Earl Thomas, you're to me already the favorite of us to win a Super Bowl. Not to say that you will, but you become a favorite when you add an Earl Thomas, when you're considering what they've already added to that defense. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not saying it's Super Bowl or bust, but it is because we have the talent and the team to do it. I said it last year when I was at camp. I said this is a good team. We could beat anybody in the NFL. We can go to the Super Bowl team last year, okay? But coaching matters. You can have all this talent, but coaching matters. And I think we're finally going to see what the difference a coach can make in a close game when it's a 13-10 and it ain't the dumb decision or we ain't getting scared or we're going to punt right here. It's going to be those critical decisions. The game comes down to seem like 1 or 2 plays, 1, 2, 3 plays in the game. It seems like in the NFL, it comes down to 1, 2, 3 plays in the game. Can that coach those right plays? Can he put these players into position to make those right plays when it counts? I believe Mike McCarthy can. Is he going to be, will you get frustrated with him? Yes. Is Mike McCarthy going to come here and be perfect? No. But at the end of the day, this guy, I feel like he was the man that was for the job. I felt like if the Cowboys were to get to a Super Bowl, we need a headstrong coach. Dallas does not win with these Fugazi type guys, these no-name type guys. Dallas doesn't win with them. They won with Jimmy Johnson. That dude's, you saw what Jimmy did. You had to bring in a Parcells. Other than that, nobody's listening to Dave Campo. I'm not saying they're not listening to him, but dog, you knew when you hired a Dave Campo, or you knew when you hired a Chan Gailey, or you even knew when you hired Phillips. You just knew, or when you hired Jason Garrett, you just knew they weren't going to win. I don't care what you tell me. I just knew when they hired those guys, we weren't winning. Yeah, we might have a winning record. Yeah, we might get to the playoffs, but we ain't ever winning no damn Super Bowl with them. And that's the way I always felt in my heart. Now you have a Mike McCarthy. I'm like, we got a chance. You get what I'm saying? I didn't feel that way with those other guys. I said, hopefully, because we got all this talent, hopefully the talent can win us and we can just get in there. But now I can sit back and say, it ain't just the talent. Now we got a coach. I feel like the coach can get us there as well. And that's a good feeling. And when I look at these other teams, how they always was talking all that trash to us and talking all this, oh, well, y'all ain't going nowhere because y'all still going to do the same thing. Y'all going to choke like always. Now I don't hear all that rumbling. I don't know about you Cowboy fans, but I don't hear all that rumbling like I used to hear before. And I feel like Jason Garrett was a part of that. I feel like he was a part of that rumbling when you hear the media, when you hear the fans running their mouth and talking all that trash because they felt like y'all gonna choke it. But now you got a McCarthy in the fold. Now you got them dogs. Now you add these CD Lambs and these Trevor Diggs. Now I don't hear all these people talking loud as much any longer. Because you know what? Coaching makes a difference. Relentless, as the lunatic said. I made a video. Relentless. That's what the Cowboys have to be. Relentless, nonstop, constant pressure. Always putting pressure. Too many times the Cowboys always just kind of comfortable. See, when you get comfortable, you lose. When you get comfortable, you don't stay on the small things. You don't do the little meticulous things when you get comfortable. You always got to have pressure. You always got to have pressure. And you always got to be relentless. That's how it's done. And I think we got this right now. The staff right now is going to put a lot of pressure, not on just their own selves, but the players. Because the coaches got pressure too. Because Mike McCarthy's coming in here. He's got to win. He's got to win now. This ain't no, oh, let's see how you do the first 3 years of McCarthy and then we'll go from there. No, you coming in here because he brought you in because you was a winner. So this pressure. So when pressure builds pipe, brings championships, let's hope it happens. Appreciate you, Uncle Charles. Yes, tell him, Rue, if you ain't hit that like button, hit it. You ain't hit that like button. I need all them likes up in here. Appreciate y'all, like I said, being in the building. I think I'm going to call it a night because Boo Thing's at the crib. Just want to tell you guys I love you. Love all my members in here. Let me give a shout out to everybody that's been in the building right quick. Dak Attack, appreciate you. The Lunatic, Texas Bread 83, what's up with you? Rue Glock, I appreciate you so much for always pushing it. Say Prime Time, what's up? Terry Turner, just as you said, Edwin Singleton, Jim Laws, Faithful, Eastside Herald. Hey, I should give you your props, dog. Thurman Tank James, first time I seen you, but I appreciate you being in the feed. Come in here more. Uncle Charles, you know how you do. Boo Thing, Blake A, what's up with your big dog? T Smooth TV, all y'all, man. I just really appreciate everybody that was in the feed today. Really love everybody that was in the feed. I want to tell you a few things before we go. So listen up right quick. Today is Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. We got coming up Sunday, as you know, we got the blue and white scrimmage that we are going to be broadcasting live. At the late night hype will be doing that. Myself, Sky, and Law will be broadcasting that live. That's going to be super fun, and we'll finally get to see our team. So that's going to be huge. We'll finally not have to hear about CeeDee Lamb or Daryl Worley or Trevin Diggs or Bradley Knight. We're finally going to be able to see them. And here's the thing that's going to be huge for this blue and white scrimmage. To me, this is going to be like a real game because remember, guys, there's no preseason game. There's no training camp. There's no preseason game. So every rep, like PT Philip Tanner said, every rep is like a game rep. So every rep in this blue-white scrimmage is going to be like a real game. So these rookies and these fringe players or these undrafted players or anybody that's trying to make this team, they're really going to have to show up in this blue-white scrimmage. Like this blue-white scrimmage has more meaning than it ever has. Because usually when you just do the blue-white scrimmage, good evaluation, but you have preseason games to evaluate. You don't have no preseason games to evaluate. So to me, this blue-white scrimmage is damn near a game. So they need to play it as such. So we're going to see who rises to the top because they say the cream rises to the top. So make sure you're in tune with that. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something else. Appreciate you, Rue. But I'm going to tell you guys something else. This is not a guarantee yet, but I'm working my magic. What I told you guys on the hype yesterday, I'll tell you guys more in depth right now. That one of my friends I went to high school with, actually we went to middle school together. We damn near grew up with each other. His nephew is Francis Bernard, you know he hit me up yesterday and he said, you know, hey, how's my my nephew doing, Francis Bernard. I was like, well, I didn't know that was your nephew. He's like, yeah. So, we chopped it up, got in his inbox. We had a nice little talk. But, his son, they lived out in Utah, and his son went to school out there in Utah. And, he showed me all kind of pictures of Francis. And, Francis is turning up this year. And, he's making a good impression as a linebacker to make the team this year. He was teammates with Anai. So right now, I'm waiting on the call from my guy. Probably won't. I don't know if I'm gonna get the call tonight. I don't know if I'm gonna get it tomorrow. But I'm working my hand for you guys to get Francis Bernard on the hype. I think that would be huge, especially the way he's turning up in camp this year. Undrafted. We had an undrafted safety, Luther Kirk, on the show. But that would be huge to get Francis Bernard on there, especially if he makes the team. That would be gigantic. So I'm working my magic right now, trying to get Francis Bernard on this late night hype this Tuesday. No guarantees yet. No guarantees. But I am working that hand to get Francis Bernard, linebacker, undrafted linebacker from Utah, on here. I think that would be a great show. Love to hear what he has to say, and how camp is going. He's there. He's in the middle of it. So that would just be some great intel and info for all our Cowboys fans. So definitely want to be able to do that. I will definitely be working that magic for that. And we'll continue to we'll just continue to work our hand. Like I said, George Teague for the season is going to be with us. We're going to see how that goes. He's going to be like our kind of Teague's takes. He already does his Teague's takes, but we'll be having him for our game, post game, maybe during the game, maybe at halftime. We're going to have a lot of good things popping, man. So the season is here, man. It's time to make it happen. The season is here. So once again, if you're not going to any games, you see that Cowboys experience, I got the hook. I don't think there probably might be fans, maybe the first few games. But if you are watching the game, you need to be in our watch parties. Like real talk. Y'all need to be in our watch parties. They're going to be second to none. Ain't nobody going to be touching what we're doing. Not bragging and saying, but we're going to have the best watch parties out, y'all. I mean, they're going to be second to none. So y'all need to be in the late night high watch parties on game time, pre-game, halftime, post-game, all that. It's going to be second to none, man. I'm telling you. We've been working our hands, working our magic, doing behind the scenes, trying to put stuff together, me, Law, and Sky, and putting our collective minds together to how we want to make this really, really trend-setting, second to none. As soon as you see it, wow, they're doing this. That's what we want. That's the effect that we want to have, the wow effect. So that's what I'm trying to tell you, I'm excited, y'all. I'm excited because I seen it. Y'all ain't seen it yet. These guys are masterminds. So we put our minds together and we sit there and say, what can we do to make the hype better? What can we do to make these guys just want this, crave this even more, to make this the Cowboys, like the Cowboys network, like Sosa, where you come here. You ain't at DallasCowboys.com, you come in here. That's what we've been brainstorming like daily, talking daily. And what we roll out for game time, I think you guys are going to really be impressed. I think you guys are really going to love it. We put a lot of heart and soul into this, a lot of effort, a lot of brain power, a lot of manpower, a lot of hours, trial and error. Y'all just don't know, man. We put in a lot of work for you guys, man. And like I said, that's why I say get them donations popping, man. That's why I say get them donations popping, because we do a lot of work for y'all. Not saying that I want to pat on my shoulder or nothing like that, but I'm saying that's how dedicated we are to you guys to bring you the best Cowboys coverage. It's like, it's serious with us. This is not a joke. This is not a game. We want to bring you the best Cowboys coverage out, bar none. So we always in the lab. So you just continue to subscribing, become a member, all that good stuff, man, because this is about to be the hype for real in the next few weeks. It's going down. So just want to tell you guys I love you. Appreciate all you guys. And we will be talking soon. Is that Philly Notion in here? If he was, a shout out to you, Philly Notion. But shout out to everybody that was in the feed. Love everybody. And we'll be talking to you soon. I'm getting out of here. Silver and Blue Nation, Big Game James. Peace. I'm out.